Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Anti-Japanese War. Me, Zhejiang Warlord. Dominating Shanghai beach Lu Xiaojia, who traveled through parallel worlds and became one of the 4 young masters of the Republic of China. Relying on his father being the governor of Zhejiang, Lu Xiaojia sang throughout the entire Shanghai beach night and night. Not only did he rape countless women, but he also brutally attacked Wang Jinrong, the leader of the Shanghai Qing Gang. But after Lu Xiaojia traveled across the country, he began to crazily reform in his father's army. Create Huangpu Military Academy. Create the first mechanized army in China. The first Special Forces unit. The first naval fleet. Relying on our own troops, we can directly dominate Shanghai beach. Until the time when I was young and launched a full-scale war against Shanghai beach, the vanguard troops treated me as ignorant. How powerful is China? Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Zhejiang Governor's Only Child. Kneeling for Freshness. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 1. Zhejiang Governor's Only Child. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward, young master, are you awake? Oh my, young master, you finally wake up. If you don't wake up, we'll have to call someone. Young master, if something happens to you in our sister's bed, how can you let us live? You scared us to death. Lu Xiaojia slowly opened her eyes and saw 4 women with exquisite looks, exquisite makeup, and diverse charm. They were wearing cheongsam and surrounded Lu Xiaojia. A soft catkin draped over Lu Xiaojia's red fruit, with a relieved expression on her face. One of the corners of his eyes was left with a tear stain, as if he was worried about his own life flowing into tears. So many girls. Is this heaven? I knew that I, Lu Xiaojia, have been a good person for over 20 years. If I die, I should go to heaven. Come on, give me a mouth first. Lu Xiaojia wrapped around a woman's neck and was about to take a bite. But soon, he suddenly discovered something and stopped his mouth movements. His gaze fell on the attire of the woman in his arms, and he found that the attire and style of these women were surprisingly unique. Especially the cheongsam on their bodies has a republican style. Lu Xiaojia instinctively took a look at the surrounding environment again. He is currently in a private room, and the interior decoration is similar in style to that of Republican TV dramas. These anomalies, if seen by others, may have been overlooked. But Lu Xiaojia is different. He suddenly calmed down and gradually became sober. Rubbing my hands, the collision between my fingers gave me a very clear sense of reality. Lu Xiaojia completely reacted. I didn't die. In his memories, he bravely saved a little girl who fell into the water. The girl was rescued and landed, but he ran out of strength and eventually became unconscious. Lu Xiaojia is just an orphan, and she is also indifferent to death. But what's going on now? This doesn't seem like heaven. It's not just a dream. And the clothes and attire of these people, the decoration of the rooms. Lu Xiaojia frowned and pondered, but in fact, he had a vague guess in his heart. Only this speculation can explain why he suddenly appeared in this room and why there were so many unfamiliar women around him. But this speculation is too surreal. He feels it's not very realistic. Several women around, seeing Lu Xiaojia's strange actions after waking up, now frowned and pondered something, and they dared not speak out to disturb her. Just as Lu Xiaojia was confused, suddenly. In my mind, a memory that didn't belong to me suddenly came to mind. This feeling is very supernatural. Lu Xiaojia widened her eyes slightly, passively digesting these memories. His eyes went from shock to sudden, and finally became complex again. I have indeed traveled through time. And I also traveled to someone with the same name and surname as me. The key is that this person is actually the only son of Lu Yongxiang, a warlord of the Anhui clique. one of the 4 young masters of the Republic of China. Lu Xiaojiao. He didn't know much about Lu Xiaojiao, so he knew he was the 4th prince of the Republic of China. In addition, it is also known that he and one of the Shanghai tycoons, Huang Jinrong, have some conflicts because of a woman named Lilanchen. Although he doesn't know much about him, he actually knows a lot about his father Lu Yongxiang. Lu Yongxiang is a famous warlord under the command of Duan Qirue, the leader of the Anhui clique warlords. Warlords are a modern term, and in ancient times, they were referred to as feudal lords or feudal lords. And Lu Yongxiang's strength behind him is not weaker than Duan Qirue. The current Zhejiang governor oversees Shanghai and currently firmly controls these 2 places. It is worth mentioning that these 2 places are heavily taxed. Lu Yongxiang, who occupied these 2 places, had a relatively prosperous life compared to other warlords. How did you cross over to this guy? Is it just because our names are the same? Let me travel through time to become Zhang Xueliang, even better than Lu Xiaojiao. Lu Xiaojiao felt a bit depressed. In his impression, although the original owner was one of the 4 great sons of the Republic of China, known as the top young master of the Republic of China. But compared to the other 3, the difference is huge. The other 3 are carved by the descendants of Sun Guofu, this person goes without saying. Father's halo is too great. Next is Zhang Xueliang, the son of Zhang Zuolin. The son of a warlord in the Fengtian clique, his father was a legitimate northeastern king, and his position among the warlords was comparable to that of Duan Qirue. If divided by level, there is a difference of 2 levels between Lu Yongxiang and Zhang Zuolin. Finally, Duan Hongye, the son of Duan Qirue. The son of the head of the Anhui family. It can be said that Lu Xiaojia is the bottom performer among these people. And his reputation cannot compare to these people. Frequently visiting various entertainment venues, he is a wealthy second-generation playboy who relies on his father's dominance in Shanghai. Feng Ping is far from those 3. Actually, this is second to none, just be a dandy. Mainly because this kid's later experiences were a bit tragic. Don't be fooled by his current dominance in the upper class of Shanghai, he can freely enter and exit the 10-mile western market of Shanghai and enjoy various indulgences. In name, it's still the 2nd generation of the military. Although he is the lowest ranked among the 4 young masters, some big shots in Shanghai, such as Huang Jinrong and Du Yuesheng, dare not touch him. After all, these people are big shots in Shanghai Beach, but in front of real warlords, they are just chicken cubs. But the problem is that it's very prosperous now, and soon the Jiangsu-Zhejiang War will break out. As the fighting side, the Lu family will experience a desperate situation of internal and external enemies, ultimately forcing their father Lu Yongxiang to abandon his territory and take refuge in a small day. And at that time, he, the 2nd generation of wealthy people, will also end up being a dead end. Although my father eventually returned, he gradually deviated from the center of power and chose to live in seclusion until he died of illness. And soon after, the National War Dungeon began, and the foot-bowl chicken would launch a comprehensive attack against the rabbits. According to the historical process, after Lu Xiaojia lost his father's big tree, Huang Jinrong and others who had previously had a holiday with him prepared to trouble him. In order to survive, Lu Xiaojia started eating soft rice, first getting involved with Fu Yi's sister-in-law, and then finding a wealthy woman. However, Huang Jinrong threatened and ultimately had no choice but to flee the mainland. Anyway, it will be as miserable as possible. Lu Xiaojia felt a bit helpless. The original owner had been obsessed with money for so many years, and the family was about to change. He left. I just left and ended up being arranged to come over and pack him up. Shaking her head, Lu Xiaojia realized that she couldn't sit idly by. Although I inherited Lu Xiaojia's body, I am myself. Since we have lived a new life, we must live more brilliantly than in our previous lives. In this life, I want to be the top man in the pyramid. To make this world tremble because of its own existence. Just when Lu Xiaojia made such a vow, a mechanically synthesized sound suddenly rang in my ear. Ding, the divine-level military system has been successfully bound. Chapter 2. Imitate bald head and establish your own military academy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Imitate bald head and establish your own military academy. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward system. Lu Xiaojia was stunned for a second, then couldn't help but be overjoyed. Even if it's rebirth, there's still such a powerful weapon as the system. In his past life, Lu Xiaojia was also a passionate fan of online literature. Nature is very familiar with the system. Basically, it is a standard configuration for every traveler. Just now, Lu Xiaojia guessed whether she had a system after realizing the fact that she might have traveled through. However, because the system was too surreal, Lu Xiaojia felt it was not very realistic and didn't take it to heart. Unexpectedly, the system actually appeared. This further strengthened Lu Xiaojia's determination to change the situation. System, introduce yourself. Lu Xiaojia couldn't wait to ask. The familiar mechanical synthesis sound echoed in my ears once again. Report host, this system is called the God-level strong army system. The existence of this system is to enhance the combat effectiveness of the military. The purpose is to serve the host, sharpen our troops, and build a complete combat system for the three armies. Every time the host completes a strong military action, they will receive a reward from the system. For the first time meeting, a gift package for the host's newcomer will be given. May I ask if it has been opened? Lu Xiaojia's mood gradually became surging as she listened to the system's narration. Surprisingly, it is a strong military system. As is well known, why rabbits were so weak during the Republic of China period. It was not the thousands of years of feudal society that caused rabbits to miss out on the development trend of the times, causing the military industry system to fall seriously behind the aggressors. If the military industry lags behind, weapons will fall behind, and if weapons fall behind, the combat effectiveness of the army will be greatly reduced. The current strong military system may be able to change the current situation very well. It's simply tailor-made for oneself. Lu Xiaojia couldn't help but be overjoyed. If it were other ordinary people, even if they had access to this system, it would probably be difficult for it to function. At least it was like this at the beginning. And I am different. My father, Lu Yongxiang, was a major warlord of the Anhui clique. The Governor-General of Zhejiang still controls Shanghai, a tax treasure trove. Although the military strength is not significant, only 70,000 to 80,000, there is still no one to beat in the Jiangnan region. To strengthen our own army, we have plenty of troops. To sum up, there are people with money. And Shanghai is by the sea, maybe we can even set up an invincible fleet to come out and play. Set a small goal first. Kill the football chicken. Lu Xiaojia thought to herself. Don't think he's joking, as a descendant of China, the hatred towards the footed chicken can be said to be innate. Since you have such a powerful system, you must be prepared to fight against the football chicken in advance. If possible, then start a decisive battle. By the way. And there's also a newcomer gift package. Lu Xiaojia suddenly reacted and immediately spoke up. System, activate the newcomer gift pack. System received. Ding, the newcomer gift package has been opened. Congratulations to the host for receiving the following rewards. New Century Officer Training Textbook *1, New Century Officer Training Textbook. This textbook consists of 10 sets, summarizing the most advanced military theoretical knowledge of the host's past life. It covers a wide range and is easy to understand. Even complex theories are interpreted in a simple and easy-to-understand way, which can cultivate excellent officers in a short time. Looking at the introduction of the system, Lu Xiaojia slightly opened her mouth. Surprisingly, it is a textbook for training military officers. This reward left Lu Xiaojia in a daze. It was simply amazing. The importance of excellent officers in a battle is beyond doubt. If a battle is compared to an archery competition, where weapons are sharp arrows, then archers are officers. Arrows are very powerful and can instantly penetrate enemies, but no matter how sharp the arrows are, they still require excellent officers to sit on them. Otherwise, we will only waste such a good weapon in vain. Excellent officers can to some extent bridge the gap in weapons and may even turn the tide of the war. Although one or two may not have a significant effect, 1,000 or 10,000 would have a significant impact. Obviously, this textbook can not only cultivate officers, but also enhance the combat quality of soldiers. If every soldier has the qualities of an officer, wouldn't their combat effectiveness come up? The most important thing is that this textbook summarizes the military theoretical knowledge of one's own original world. The military theory of the past life, placed in this world, is not only a dimension reduction strike, but also a very advanced existence. In other words, just because of the existence of this textbook, the military theoretical quality of their soldiers may be comparable to that of officers in 100 years. At the same time, Lu Xiaojia immediately had a bold idea. There is such a powerful reward that can be used to cultivate my own officers. Go straight. Follow the example of a bald tycoon who doesn't want to be named and create your own military academy. At that time, when I become the principal myself and cultivate military officers, won't all of them be my own students? Thinking of the future, a group of generals in the rabbit would shout the principal when they saw them. Lu Xiaojia is even more excited. Haha. That's it. After making up her mind, Lu Xiaojia shook off her female companion beside her. Immediately picked up his own clothes, put them on, and headed straight to his father Lu Yongxiang's headquarters. Looking at Lu Xiaojia, who was swift and decisive, several women stared wide-eyed. What's wrong with young Master Lu today? Why do you feel a bit nervous? I can't have fainted just now and ruined my mind, can I? No, have you noticed that young Master Lu seems to have changed a bit? I feel like his eyes are different from before. Several women looked at Lu Xiaojia's back and fell into a daze. Before long, a black sedan hurriedly drove to the headquarters where Lu Yongxiang was located. Lu Xiaojia got off the car, and the soldiers around him saluted as they saw him. Nodding, Lu Xiaojia walked straight towards the headquarters. Father. Chapter 3. No money. Sharpen the knife and rush towards the parents. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. No money. Sharpen the knife and rush towards the parents. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward Lu Xiaojia strode into the headquarters. Lu Yongxiang sat in the office, lying on the seat humming a tune and sipping tea. The current days are quite comfortable for him. As a pure warlord, holding a heavy army, while also stationed in these two fertile territories of Zhejiang and Shanghai, he is not lacking in money or people. It can be said that the spring breeze is proud. Even if the Emperor Laozi comes now, he must be envious. However, the originally comfortable rest time was interrupted with a "father" sound. Upon hearing the sound, Lu Yongxiang suddenly opened his eyes. His expression was somewhat displeased. This kid. Are you short of money again? He impatiently opened the nearby drawer and took out a gold nugget wrapped in red paper, throwing it directly onto the table. Father. Lu Xiaojia walked into his father's office. Although he was an orphan in his past life, he never saw what his father looked like. But due to the original owner's physical condition, Lu Xiaojia called her father, there was no barrier at all. Very smooth. It may also be due to the father's excessive indulgence towards the original owner. Lu Xiaojia is the only son of his father Lu Yongxiang, and he only got this son at the age of 35. In the era of Lu Yongxiang, getting married at the age of 20 was considered a late marriage, so 30.5 years old can be said to be an old age. Nature also dotes on him very much. With such a doting father, it is normal for Lu Xiaojia to become a wealthy second-generation playboy. Seeing his son come over, calling out his father affectionately, Lu Yongxiang guessed that this kid must not have been holding his breath. Glancing at him, then raising his chin, gesturing for the small gold nugget on his table. "I'm running out of money again. Take it away and get out of here. I get annoyed when I see you." Lu Xiaojia glanced at the gold nugget and immediately spoke with righteousness. "Father, it's okay for outsiders to underestimate me. Why do you think I'm a greedy and lascivious person?" Lu Yongxiang chuckled lightly and looked at the vertical pole in front of him, disdainfully saying, "I'm your father, can I not know who you are? Hurry up and take it away, get lost." However, it was Lu Xiaojia's turn to look at her father with disdainful eyes. Lu Yongxiang frowned slightly, feeling that today's only son was a bit different. "It's not that we're short of money. Are you causing trouble for me again, kid?" Lu Xiaojia shook her head and said, "Father, I have something important to tell you." As she spoke, she glanced at several of her father's henchmen indoors. "You guys go out first." "Yes." Watching his departing subordinates, Lu Yongxiang looked suspicious. He sat up straight, picked up the teacup, and looked at his son with displeasure. "If you have any fart, let it go." "Father, do I have an idea? I want to establish a military academy." Lu Xiaojia immediately expressed her thoughts. Just as the idea was first expressed, Lu Yongxiang, who was drinking tea, almost choked on it. "What are you saying?" He wiped the water stains on his body with a handkerchief and couldn't believe looking at Lu Xiaojia. "Say it again." "I said I want to run a military academy." Lu Xiaojia repeated solemnly. Lu Yongxiang wanted to laugh. As a vertical person, he loves to eat, drink, gamble, and don't care about politics. He also causes various troubles. "I either hit this or that every day. It's good now, he's not causing trouble anymore, he's actually going to set up a military academy. This is simply ridiculous." Lu Yongxiang actually really wanted to laugh, but he suddenly saw his son's gaze, which was calm and full of determination. This left him stunned again. "I'm a bit puzzled, is this still my own son? When did you become so serious?" He restrained his smile and immediately became more serious. Which father doesn't want his son to be a dragon and phoenix among people? Now, his playboy son has finally come up with a good idea that being a father should not be suppression. However, Lu Yongxiang cannot agree with his idea. "Xiaojia, I don't know how you came up with such thoughts. In theory, fathers should support them. But I have to tell you, your ideas don't align with reality. Now there are military academies everywhere, and there is no shortage of military academies. And even though you and I are now in charge of the army, don't forget that there is also Duan Chirue above. He is the leader of our Anhui clique. It's not appropriate for us to build a military academy." Lu Xiaojia frowned and fell into contemplation. Seeing his son's appearance, Lu Yongxiang was somewhat surprised. "I can clearly feel my son's seriousness." He wanted to say comforting words, but at this moment, he saw Lu Xiaojia speak again. His demeanor remained solemn. "Father, I want to ask you, are you willing to stay under someone else's protection? Can't we just imitate the Fengtian army and become independent?" As soon as these words were spoken, an inexplicable gust of wind blew through the window and surged into the room, causing the hunting of documents on the table to make a sound. At the same time, Lu Yongxiang widened his eyes slightly and stared fixedly at Lu Xiaojia in front of him. He couldn't believe it, it was something his son could say. Does this kid want me to be independent? Such foresight and ambition. Is this really what that playboy can say on weekdays? Lu Yongxiang didn't speak, but slowly walked to the window, looked up at the sky, and seriously pondered what Lu Xiaojia had just said. Build a military academy. Independence from Anhui warlords. But this is not easy to talk about. I have never thought that who wants to be a warlord. Seeing my father began to hesitate. After pondering for a moment, Lu Xiaojia then said. Father, you said it's not appropriate to build a military academy because you're worried that the leaders might think we're going to rebel and become independent, right? But if you think this way, we will build a military academy and cultivate excellent soldiers who will still serve Duan Qirui. What doubts can he have about such a good thing? Doubting that our 70,000 to 80,000 troops can still compete with his 230,000 to 300,000 troops. Speaking of this, Lu Xiaojia paused for a moment and then said. If you're worried, then this military academy will be established in my name and I'll be the principal. Lu Xiaojia's words dispelled many of Lu Yongxiang's concerns. Especially establishing military academies under the name of Lu Xiaojia. His son's temperament is not just known to him. As one of the 4 great sons, the major warlords have some impressions of his son. A proper playboy. Isn't it like playing around when such a person wants to run a military academy? Who would take it seriously? Lu Yongxiang raised his eyebrows and looked at his son, feeling an indescribable surprise in his heart. This kid surprisingly, he would use other people's prejudices against him to secretly cause trouble. Is this still my own immature son who only causes trouble everywhere? Does he also have such a mansion? At this moment, Lu Yongxiang inexplicably hoped that his son could come up with something new. Just as Lu Yongxiang was surprised, Lu Xiaojia continued to say. Father, if it doesn't work out, we won't lose either. But if it turns out? Lu Xiaojia chuckled lightly and stopped speaking. And how could Lu Yongxiang not know the profound meaning behind it? Military Academy. If it really succeeds, there will definitely be an unexpected increase in the combat effectiveness of the troops under our command. Lu Yongxiang fell into contemplation. My son wants to do big things, so I should encourage him. Although 80% may not be possible, if it is, it will definitely benefit the military. And there's light on my face. Even if it's not possible to be ridiculed, do you still get laughed at less often? Not short of this time. Thinking of this, Lu Yongxiang sighed and finally let go. Since you want to do it, then it's up to you. However, as you said, you are responsible for this military academy. You will also be the principal. Lu Xiaojia was overjoyed. Father still doesn't believe in himself. No problem, the principal actually fell into his own hands. Chapter 4. Establishing the Huangpu River Military Academy. Kneeling for freshness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Establishing the Huangpu River Military Academy. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward with the support of Lu Yongxiang. The establishment of the military academy was very easy. After all, Shanghai is his own territory, so Lu Yongxiang let his son freely choose a place. Lu Xiaojia chose the address from the beginning. This is a relatively seaside location. Convenient for officers to practice the navy in the future. And the surrounding area of the school site is relatively flat, with mountains and forests not far away. The diverse terrain also facilitates the training of diverse combat officers. Covering an area of 500 acres, it is equivalent to 3 Huangpu military academies. The construction area is not very large, and the vacant land is temporarily idle. Lu Xiaojia had her own plan in her heart, just to have the land leveled and kept for his own use in the future. So it took almost half a month for Lu Xiaojia's military academy to be established. Young master. I have found everyone for you. Lu Xiaojia's attendant, a burly man, walked straight into the principal's office. This servant's name is Su Meng, as his name suggests. He is 1.9 meters tall and was originally a laborer in a shipyard. He is full of tendons and flesh, and with just one punch, he can't even beat a cow. These are also the subordinates that Lu Xiaojia personally went to find these days. Prevent yourself from being beaten up and keep it with you. This silly guy was raising money to bury his mother at the time, and Lu Xiaojia gave him $10. After burying his mother, he followed Lu Xiaojia as his attendant. Su Meng followed a dozen or so officers dressed in Anhui-style military uniforms behind him. These are all around 40 or 50, and they are all under the command of Lu Yongxiang. Seeing them coming over, Lu Xiaojia immediately welcomed them. "Uncle, I've waited for you all." Lu Xiaojia smiled calmly. These people have very plain faces. When they arrived, they already knew what was going on. "I came to serve as a teaching teacher at Lu Xiaojia's military academy. And they are also a group of people under Lu Yongxiang, with a relatively high cultural level. Some even used to be students of the military preparation hall. The so-called Wubei Hall was the military academy of the Qing dynasty during the westernization movement. Many warlords such as Duan Qirui and Lu Yongxiang have received education in this school. Compared to others, military theory is much more diverse. But they also seem to understand the young master's personality very well. Guess Lu Xiaojia just started having fun. That's why I thought of setting up a military academy. Just need to play with him if he gets tired of it. Hello young master. I've seen the young master. Everyone arched their hands together. Call. Principal. Su Meng suddenly spoke on the side. Everyone was slightly stunned. Su Meng, these are all military officers from our school. Even if you don't call them the principal, it's okay. Lu Xiaojia smiled calmly. Everyone looked at each other and couldn't help but chuckle in their hearts. Some people even muttered softly. Let me tell you what, our young master just wanted to become addicted to the principal. I don't know what the young master is thinking. Is it because the female prostitutes in Shanghai Beach are no longer fun, or because the casino is tired of playing? Why are we starting to harm us? Be patient, maybe the young master is not interested anymore, so he won't bother us anymore. Just as these people were discussing, a middle-aged man suddenly took a step forward and spoke. Principal. Since the supervisor supports you, then those of us who are subordinates will naturally obey you. It's just that this military academy doesn't just have a few rooms. He must have teaching materials. Military academy all over the country have their own teaching materials. Which one do you plan to use? After listening to his words, everyone looked at Lu Xiaojia one after another. He didn't speak, just moved away and 10 books appeared on the table behind him. Military academy in different places have different teaching materials and different theoretical quality, which is really embarrassing. So I compiled these 10 theoretical books by combining the strengths of 100 schools of thought and my own small insights. Let's use these as textbooks for our school. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone's gaze fell on those 10 books. The group that was calm just now suddenly became extremely complex in their hearts. They couldn't help but whisper again. Nonsense. I thought young Master Lu really had some big ambitions, but now it seems like it's just nonsense. This teaching material is about the quality of officers. Although the officers trained with the teaching materials of the military academy are relatively ordinary, the ordinary ones are better than those compiled by the young master himself. You're right, young master. He's just a playboy. Sigh. What does he know? He doesn't know as much about those things as one of my adjutants. I thought the young master was really going to make a name for himself, but now it seems like we're overthinking it. Lu Xiaojia knew that they had some prejudice against their original self. Even when I heard their comments about myself, I didn't take them to heart. Instead, he instructed Su Meng to distribute the books on the table to them for reading. After receiving those books, these officers each looked around. The resentment in their hearts suddenly dissipated, and they frowned, feeling a little surprised. Are these really books compiled by the young master? A military officer glanced at the cover of the book, but had not yet read its contents. The name of the book surprised him greatly. On irregular warfare. What does this mean? Upon closer inspection, it was discovered that it contained various irregular combat modes. Warfare forms such as guerrilla warfare, sparrow warfare, and underground warfare, which primarily rely on attacks, possess high mobility, flexibility, initiative, aggressiveness, and quick decision-making, and can widely mobilize the masses to engage in war. Even these officers have never heard of such a systematic approach. Not only that, other officers also looked at the textbooks in their respective hands. On deep operations, on maritime victory, on air victory, on joint operations, on flash victory, on mechanized operations. The name is unique or second, mainly because the content and concept inside are very advanced. Especially some theories are still based on the materials of the recent World War I, which are not only simple and easy to understand, but also very practical. Some officers were completely stunned, even treating the textbooks in hand as treasures. Young master. No, headmaster, this is really the textbook you compiled. It's much more advanced than the old theories of military academy. That's right, principal. I didn't expect you to have such a high level of expertise in military theory. You are simply a military genius. Principal, is this book really written by you? Nonsense, have you ever heard of such advanced military theories before? Didn't the principal just add a little bit of his own perspective? But why, it seems like all the new products are new. They're just precious. It seems that everyone has met Lu Xiaojia for the first time. The sound of the principal also comes from the heart. In other words, this textbook has given them a new understanding of Lu Xiaojia. Whether it was compiled by him or not, but it emerged from his hands. With this teaching material, their military academy has much more information than the ordinary military academy. At this moment, these officers also realized that Lu Xiaojia was not a military academy created on impulse. He is serious. The textbook is my summary, you all think it's okay. Lu Xiaojia said calmly. Okay, that's great. With this textbook, I can definitely cultivate enough excellent military officers. Principal, I have this confidence. Me too, Principal, let's leave the matter of training military officers to us. Everyone said one after another. Seeing their appearance, Lu Xiaojia was also very satisfied. Thank you all for your trouble. At this point, an officer suddenly spoke up. Young master. Such precious textbooks cannot be leaked outside. I suggest that our military academy only recruit outstanding soldiers from our own army. As soon as these words were spoken, others also responded. In their opinion, such excellent textbooks would be too wasteful to cultivate outsiders, allowing outsiders to take advantage. However, Lu Xiaojia decisively rejected this proposal. I understand what you mean, but the current environment does not allow us to do so. Nowadays, China's warlords are in chaos, with internal troubles and external wolves surrounding them. This is a crucial period for cultivating military talents, so everything should be approached from the perspective of national righteousness. If I am a Chinese person and want to become a scholar, as long as I meet the standards, I will not refuse anyone. Lu Xiaojia spoke calmly, but upon hearing his words, everyone's eyes suddenly became unusually surprised. Their gaze swept back and forth on Lu Xiaojia. I can't believe this is the playboy Lu Xiaojia from before. This is simply a talented and ambitious young person who puts national righteousness on their shoulders. Moreover, Lu Xiaojia is the principal after all. Since he has decided to recruit students from all over the society, these military officers dare not object anymore. After all, Lu Xiaojia has brought out the national righteousness. Talking too much actually makes one appear to have a low profile. Since the principal has already decided, we can't say anything more. By the way, Principal, have you arranged the enrollment process? Do you need our help? An officer wanted to take the initiative to help. Perhaps they didn't realize that they had already begun to actively participate in this matter. I don't think Lu Xiaojia is troubling them either. Instead, I feel that this is a very meaningful event. Lu Xiaojia nodded and saw the table behind her. I have already arranged it. I have also written the enrollment brochure. Upon hearing these words, everyone couldn't help but gather their gaze on the table behind Lu Xiaojia. Suddenly saw a piece of writing paper. Seeing them curious, Lu Xiaojia immediately waved his hand and Su Meng handed the document to everyone. Uncle, can you take a look at my nephew's enrollment brochure? Is it written well? These officers approached and looked carefully. They had initially looked down upon Lu Xiaojia, but upon seeing it, they couldn't help but shudder. For promotion and wealth, please go elsewhere. Don't be afraid of life or death and don't enter the martial arts world. All right. It's written well. This can be used as a couplet in front of our military academy. The state carries its people on a boat, sailing in the sea. When encountering sudden winds and waves, we should work together to seek mutual assistance. This statement directly elevates the significance of our military academy to the height of the nation. What a wonderful thing. I didn't expect the principal to have such literary talent. It really impressed us. Everyone nodded in excitement. At this moment, an officer seemed to have thought of something and then asked again. By the way, Principal, it seems that our school still lacks a name. The other officers reacted and looked at Lu Xiaojia one after another. He suddenly lost his focus in his eyes, and after about 2 seconds, Lu Xiaojia's eyes trembled and he chuckled softly. Not far from our school is the Huangpu River. Just call it Huangpu River Military Academy. Abbreviated as Huangpu. Chapter 5. Go elsewhere for promotion and wealth. Greed breeds fear. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Go elsewhere for promotion and wealth. Greed for life and fear of death, do not enter the sect. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward the establishment of Huangpu River Military Academy has been officially completed. Write a pair of couplets in a very prominent place at the school gate. On the right. Go elsewhere for promotion and wealth. Left side. Greed for life and fear of death, do not enter the sect. At the same time, the news of the establishment of the military academy quickly spread throughout the entire Shanghai Bund. It even reached the ears of other warlords. Zhang family mansion. Father, I heard that a military academy has been established in Shanghai and is currently recruiting students. Zhang Xueliang heard the news and chatted with his father Zhang Zuolin. Shanghai. Lu Yongxiang's territory. Zhang Zuolin shook his head disdainfully and said, "Damn it, this is the battle between Laozi and the direct faction that did not affect their Anhui faction. Look, they're giving it a free time." Surprisingly, they all started a military academy. Zhang Zuolin's subordinates seemed to have also heard this news. But couldn't help but laugh. Zhang Zuolin immediately frowned and looked at him with anger. "What are you laughing at? Did I say it wrong?" The subordinate knew that the commander had misunderstood and immediately explained. "Commander, I'm not laughing at you. I am the military academy built by Lu Yongxiang." Zhang Xueliang also frowned and said, "What's so funny about this? Military academies are all designed to cultivate military talents. Don't be fooled by Lu Yongxiang's military strength being less than 1/5 of ours, but if we really cultivate a group of excellent officers. Their leader Duan Chirue is like adding wings like a tiger. We cannot underestimate it." Zhang Zuolin shook his beard and said, "Liuzi is right. You can't take it lightly. When I established the military academy in the northeast, I also trained many generals. This military education cannot be neglected at any time. We cannot underestimate it." The deputy nodded and said, "Commander, I know. It's just that you and the young master don't understand clearly. I have a cousin in Shanghai Beach, and we also talked about this the day before yesterday. Guess what? This military academy is said to have been built by Lu Yongxiang, rather than being hosted by his son. His son serves as the principal, and I heard that the textbooks were all compiled by his son himself. Speaking of this, the adjutant couldn't help but want to laugh, but this time he restrained himself. Zhang Xueliang widened his eyes slightly. Did you say that guy Lu Xiaojia built the military academy? The adjutant nodded repeatedly and said, right. Isn't Lu Yongxiang the only son he has? Zhang Xueliang shook his head helplessly. I said they inexplicably set up a military academy. It turned out to be a dandy like Lu Xiaojia. Thinking of this, Zhang Xueliang suddenly laughed. Zhang Xueliang is quite familiar with Lu Xiaojia. After all, some people in the community have arranged for the 4 great sons of the Republic of China. When I learned that Sun Ku and Duan Hongye were also among them, Zhang Xueliang quite recognized this ranking. Until he learned that Lu Xiaojia was also among them, Zhang Xueliang felt ashamed of it. What kind of person is Lu Xiaojia? Just his father Lu Yongxiang is on the same level as his own father's subordinates. Such people deserve to be on par with themselves. It's simply funny. Zhang Zuolin seemed to also think of Lu Xiaojia. Lu Yongxiang has only one son and has long heard that he is a dandy who enjoys eating, drinking, prostitution, and gambling. I heard that he is hosting a military academy now. Zhang Zuolin's face showed a hint of disdain, and he shook his head disdainfully. Damn it, Lu Yongxiang is still too rich. Zhejiang and Shanghai, these 2 rich places. Let him occupy them all. This is money and nowhere to spend it. I want to see what his son can do. Zhang Xueliang suddenly smiled and said, Dad, why don't you expect him to do something great? It's better to expect me. I guess it was just a whim. Half a year. No. At most 2 months, his military academy is likely to go bankrupt. Zhang Zuolin chuckled. These strengths are all expressed through comparison. Compared to Lu Xiaojia, a playboy, he found his 6 sons to be more pleasing to the eye. Let's go, accompany me out for a walk. Zhang Zuolin stood up with a smile. Not only did Zhang Zuolin learn about the news of the military academy. As the head of the Anhui clique, Duan Qirui also heard of this news. He called Lu Yongxiang at that time. After learning that it was his son who did it. Resolutely reprimanded Lu Yongxiang. To be frank, Lu Yongxiang dotes too much on his son. This will only make outsiders laugh. Lu Yongxiang's answer was also very straightforward. I only have one son, who should I spoil if I don't spoil him? Duan Qirui won't say anything more. Anyway, he's just a playboy. Whatever he does. I'm not asking anymore. After the establishment of Huangpu River Military Academy, enrollment began. At the beginning, the enrollment process was not smooth. Nowadays, warlords are under separatist rule and war is imminent. Maybe joining the military academy today and going to the battlefield tomorrow. So, except for those who have nowhere to live, those who only seek food to eat will choose to join the army. However, there are exceptions as well. Some ambitious individuals who aspire to join the military and serve their country will take the initiative to do so. Especially these people, they deeply understand that military academies and ordinary soldiers are different. The latter is likely to serve as cannon fodder when serving in the army, while the former is a military officer. Although Xiao Xiao is not a pen-throwing official, he still wants to invite longing for his merits. When a young man is full of energy, he is determined to defend his home and country. Live up to the aspirations of Qing Yun, and forever preserve the heart of a child. Go to other places for promotion and wealth, be greedy for life and afraid of death, do not enter the sect. Many people were attracted by the eye-catching enrollment quotes and came one after another. Although they are occasionally reminded that this military academy is hosted by a wealthy second-generation playboy. But there are still many ambitious people who are attracted. In their eyes, people can change. What if that dandy really changes? And come and take a look, there won't be a missing piece of meat. Lu Xiaojia was also aware of her current reputation, so she arranged for some military officers to be present at the admissions office, allowing aspiring students to have early access to some textbooks. These people have more or less been exposed to some military theories. After seeing the textbook compiled by Lu Xiaojia, I was immediately shocked. Those advanced military theories exude unique charm. Make them eager to learn. Immediately, he no longer hesitated. Even if they can't learn anything, they are willing to join just because of these textbooks. The locals couldn't help but shake their heads as they watched the continuous influx of students. These people are really too naive, don't they know about Lu Xiaojia's notorious reputation? Look at them happy, they look like they've picked up a bargain, they'll feel uncomfortable in the future. Forget it, good words are hard to persuade ghosts who want to die. After a week of enrollment, the enrollment work has finally been completed. A total of 1,000 students were recruited, with 600 students from the public and 400 students from the military. Lu Xiaojia looked at the list of qualified personnel and was very satisfied. Once the staff is fully recruited, we can start preparing for teaching. Just as she was thinking about it, Lu Xiaojia was momentarily taken aback. Surprisingly, I saw a familiar name on the list. Sun Liren. Little brother kneels down to beg for a flower, a reward, and a monthly pass. As long as there is any data, I will immediately add 20 chapters and never break my promise. Chapter 6. Gathering of famous generals in the anti-Japanese war. Saving our country. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Gathering of famous generals in the anti-Japanese war. Save our country from danger. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward Sun Liren. It's not the Sun Liren I thought of, is it? Seeing the names on the list, Lu Xiaojia was immediately stunned. Mainly because of this name, it reminded him of a general who graduated from Huangpu Military Academy in his previous life. This general is known as the Fox of the Jungle, the Eastern Rommel. He has achieved brilliant military achievements throughout his life, mainly serving on the battlefield of Burma Point. 2 expeditions to Burma, the first killing 15,000 Japanese soldiers. Killed more than 30,000 people for the second time. He was one of the military-level generals who annihilated the most enemies during the anti-Japanese war. Besides making significant contributions in combat, he also helped the military group at that time to complete the modernization of the army. Establish a sound military service system and reserve officer system. It can be said that one is capable of both literature and martial arts. That is to say, Lu Xiaojia has a better understanding of the history of the Republic of China during this period. Especially familiar with some top generals. Nature is very sensitive to Sun Liren's name. I don't know if it's the Sun Liren I remember. If it is, then I really made a profit. According to the historical process, Sun Liren will join the Huangpu Military Academy, but now only the Huangpu River Military Academy. If it were really him, it would really have killed a general. It is difficult to cultivate excellent officers, but it is even more difficult to cultivate excellent generals. Among the 40,000 rabbits, there are less than 100 generals like Sun Liren. What a pity. It's already great to get one on your own. And now it's still the first phase, maybe more and better generals will be recruited in the future. Thinking of this, Lu Xiaojia nodded, but it looked like she had a list in her hand with great interest. I hope to find a few more. Originally, there was no hope to be blessed, but later, to his surprise, he discovered 2 more. Du Luming. Shuiyu. 2 more fierce generals. Du Luming once served as a lieutenant general in the army and participated in many important battles. He rose to fame in the Battle of Guinan. Heavy damage to the Japanese army. Also a fierce general. And then there's Shuiyu. Lu Xiaojia is very familiar with this person's name. This general, from the beginning to the end of the anti-Japanese war, has accumulated remarkable achievements and is known as the commander who annihilates the most enemies. He alone commanded the 3 battles in Changsha and annihilated nearly 120,000 Japanese invaders. The subsequent defeat in the war still dealt a heavy blow to the Japanese army of nearly 70,000 soldiers. At that time, people had many evaluations of him. One of the 3 swordsmen of the Guangdong army. Anti-Japanese war god. Destroy the most enemy generals. Wait. He was able to achieve such a military record because he was truly a talented warrior. I have created my own unique heavenly furnace warfare and 8-character pocket warfare. The strategy of the heavenly furnace is capable of understanding the profoundness of heaven and earth, the mysteries of the universe, and the mysteries of ghosts and gods. It is difficult to predict human affairs and is therefore called the battle of the heavenly furnace. The latter 8-character pocket tactics were summarized by Shuiyu based on the study of many battles, and are one of the most effective tactics for frontal confrontation in situations where the enemy is strong and we are weak. Both of these tactics have played a huge role in combat. After seeing these 3 familiar names, Lu Xiaojia was still quite excited in her heart. But he is not in a hurry either. We still have to watch the 3 of them perform at school. Lu Xiaojia only knows that these 3 people will become famous generals, but she doesn't know if they have the same name and surname. After all, he has only heard of these people and has not seen them with his own eyes. If they are truly talented, they will definitely stand out among the crowd. Principal, the students have gathered on the big playground. Now everyone is waiting for your lecture. Lu Xiaojia nodded, then put down the list in her hand and walked towards the playground. At this moment, the playground was bustling with people, but with the appearance of Lu Xiaojia, this group of students suddenly became much quieter. They stretched out their heads, all wanting to take a look at their principal. However, after seeing Lu Xiaojia, they were still somewhat disappointed. They had heard of Lu Xiaojia's name before joining the military academy. I also heard from the public that he is a playboy who enjoys eating, drinking, prostitution, and gambling, and does not engage in serious business. Now seeing Lu Xiaojia, I realize that apart from her handsome appearance, there is nothing unusual about her. This made them all somewhat skeptical. Is that textbook really compiled by the man in front of me? On this side, Lu Xiaojia also walked up to everyone. In front of him, there is a loudspeaker. He glanced at the crowd and then spoke up. Thank you all for attending today's opening ceremony. I am Lu Xiaojia, the principal of Huangpu River Military Academy. I think you may have some understanding of my style review. That's right, in the eyes of some people, I am indeed an uneducated and inexperienced person, a wealthy second generation who only knows how to enjoy themselves. But that was before. When I saw the authorities in chaos, the people struggling, the country on the brink of collapse, and foreign enemies stirring up. I, like you all, have a sincere heart that wants to support the general of the building and save the nation from danger. So I founded this school. Lu Xiaojia spoke calmly, but this calmness gradually infected the students below. They were surprised. This is what the people call a playboy. Can a playboy make such a statement with such great ambitions? The key is that it doesn't seem like it's just a facade. I know, you know my reputation, but you also want to gamble on your ideals in your heart. I can only say that I will not disappoint you, and the Huangpu River Military Academy will not disappoint you. But I also hope that you can never forget your original intention and always stick to your ideals. Do you remember the couplets you saw when you entered school? As soon as Lu Xiaojia spoke, the students below shouted in unison. Go elsewhere for promotion and wealth. Greed for life and fear of death, do not enter the sect. Lu Xiaojia nodded solemnly and said, that's right. Those who can come in are people with lofty aspirations. I hope you can make a grand wish today. I will never have the mentality of promotion and wealth throughout my life, only focusing on the cause of saving the country and the people. Establishing a unified national main force to save our country from danger. This is my expectation for you. Finally, I announced the official establishment of Huangpu River Military Academy. As the words fell, thunderous applause erupted below. The Huangpu River Military Academy has been established. I don't know why, maybe it was because Liu Xiaojia's heartfelt speech aroused the passion of the students to save the nation. Or perhaps a group of patriotic and ambitious young people have found an organization. In short, the students below no longer have any regrets at this moment, but are looking forward to their future learning in life. Then, as the students began their classes, the Huangpu River Military Academy has finally begun to get back on track. Liu Xiaojia stood in the office on the second floor of the school, looking out. Even after class, students eagerly discussed the military theoretical knowledge learned in class. Before enrollment, they all undergo a preliminary examination, which focuses on subjects such as Chinese mathematics. Those who can pass the preliminary exam are students who have done well in their studies. Learning ability is naturally not weak. Thanks to my father's help in finding foreigners with experience in running schools to take over. Otherwise, it might not be so smooth. Thinking of her father's support, Liu Xiaojia's face showed a faint smile. The establishment of the military academy has been completed. He also breathed a sigh of relief. Just as he began to contemplate what to do next, a voice suddenly sounded in my ear. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully establishing a military academy and enhancing the potential of the military. We hereby reward the host with a strong army gift package *1, add more. Kneeling down for all the data. I will never break my promise. Chapter 7. Shanghai Tantrian Society. Go and cheer up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Shanghai Tantrian Society. Go and cheer. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward. We hereby reward the host with a strong army gift package *1. It's the system. As the sound of the system sounded, the system interface suddenly appeared in front of Liu Xiaojia's eyes. Host. Liu Xiaojia, title. President of Huangpu River Military Academy, Industry. Huangpu River Military Academy, Props. New Century Officer Training Textbook *1, Strong Army Gift Pack *1, New System Rewards. Liu Xiaojia was pleasantly surprised. That's right, the system said at the time that completing the Strong Army activity would earn rewards. Creating a military academy is also a strong military activity, and there are rewards for everything. May I ask the host if they have opened the Strong Army gift pack now? Open it. Liu Xiaojia said decisively without hesitation. System received. The Strong Army gift pack is currently being opened. Ding! Congratulations to the host for receiving the following rewards. AK.47 Weapon Design Drawing *1, 7.62mm Caliber Bullet Manufacturing Drawing *1, Winky Face, AK.47 Weapon Design Drawing. There are also accompanying bullet manufacturing drawings. This system is capable of handling, it really provides good things. Liu Xiaojia suddenly became happy. The AK.47 gun was not manufactured until 1947. That is, the product after more than 20 years. The power and performance are self-evident. Even in the new century, this type of gun still holds a high position in the rifle industry due to its stability, durability, and ability to adapt to various harsh conditions. It is also known as the King of Rifles. Besides its excellent performance, the most important thing is that compared to other rifles with superior performance, this gun has a very low cost. It can be said that he is not only the king of rifles, but also the king of cost-effectiveness. Just right for the current situation. AK-47 had decent combat power in its past life, but now, It's just a divine artifact. You should know that the firearms in the hands of warlords nowadays are still made in early Hanyang or semi-automatic rifles. Both in terms of power and performance, it cannot be compared to the fully automatic AK-47. It's not an exaggeration to say it's a dimensionality reduction strike. If I had 70,000 soldiers under my command, would have replaced them all with AK-47. Land warfare is not to be feared at all. Imagine if you could shoot another semi-automatic shot and hang a bullet on your end. On the other side, everyone is attacking with a fully automatic AK-47. The firepower is much different. A fully automatic rifle can effectively compensate for the lack of firepower. Even with less and more, with this weapon, the situation can still be reversed. Of course, the fully automatic rifle itself has a drawback. That means it takes more bullets. However, since there are supporting bullet manufacturing drawings, there is no need to worry about bullets. I was just thinking about what to do next, but the system showed me a way. Establishing a military factory. Lu Xiaojia suddenly thought of it. Now I have weapon manufacturing drawings and bullet manufacturing drawings in my hands. The current task is to mass-produce AK-47. It's best to do it within a year. No. Within 6 months. Let all 70,000 soldiers under my command use AK-47. The situation is constantly changing, and only by strengthening the combat effectiveness of our subordinates can we prevent any potential problems. Especially the Jiangsu-Zhejiang War, which led to the loss of the Lu family's two precious territories of Shanghai and Zhejiang. We must enhance our military strength before the outbreak of the Jiangsu-Zhejiang War. If you remember correctly, it was the direct General Qi Shiyuan who came to attack us. After the anti-Japanese dungeon opened, Qi Xiaoyuan defected to the Japanese and became a traitor. For traitors, Lu Xiaojia naturally detested them. But then it came back. Establishing a military factory is not just about running it. The land issue is relatively easy to solve, but both the factory machinery and workers require a lot of money. Are you still asking your father for it? Although my father is a warlord, he also holds two heavily taxed territories, Shanghai and Zhejiang. It's a bit inappropriate to let him take the money again. Especially for the expenses of military academies, they are all money given by the father. This is actually a considerable expense. Because their military academy was established after the Huangpu military academy. No tuition fees, and also manage 3 meals. The cost of 3 meals a day alone is a significant expense. You should know that there are over 1,000 people in the school. This is still my father supporting me. If he were to support himself in creating a military factory again. It's been rumored that everyone thought they were just a wealthy second-generation playboy who only knows how to spend money. Of course, Lu Xiaojia doesn't care about her own face either. Just the most crucial point is that Lu Yongxiang currently has limited money and cannot afford to establish a military factory. After all, Lu Yongxiang did not serve as the governor of Zhejiang for a long time. Even if he had 2 heavily taxed areas, he had to accumulate wealth for a period of time. Now the money in his hands is barely enough to maintain the military's salary and school. Maintaining military factories. It really took some effort. For this reason, even if Lu Xiaojia asked him for money, he probably wouldn't get much. No, we need to find another way with this money. Lu Xiaojia pondered for a long time. And at that moment, suddenly Su Meng knocked on the door and walked in. Principal, there is someone who claims to be your little brother and wants to see you at the theater. Little brother. Watching a play. Lu Xiaojia pondered for a moment. The original owner, who is proficient in eating, drinking, prostitution, and gambling, has nothing else, just a little brother. But most of these people are just fox friends and dog friends. Lu Xiaojia is also lazily interacting with these people. Then he waved his hand and said. Just say I have something to attend to, I'm gone. This sentence was just spoken. Suddenly, someone's voice rang out. Ouch! Young Master Lu. Are you okay lately? Why don't you even hang out with me anymore? Do you know that without you, I wouldn't have had much fun playing? Lu Xiaojia turned her head and saw that it was actually a young man with a thin figure, dressed in a brocade white robe, and wearing golden-rimmed glasses. When Lu Xiaojia saw him, she immediately remembered. This is the eldest son of a business owner in Shanghai, and he is also a famous playboy in Shanghai Beach. Call it Song Shichen. This person is very compatible with Lu Xiaojia. However, relying on the fact that his elders are all cultured people, although he also enjoys playing, his heart is not bad. Compared to a dandy like Lu Xiaojia, it is simply a clear stream in the world of dandy. Seeing him, Lu Xiaojia stopped rushing people and immediately arranged for him to take his seat. So it's you. I've been busy running a school lately, what brings you here? The son of the business owner, who has a good relationship with him, may be able to raise some money from him. Lu Xiaojia was calculating in her heart. Although Song Shichen is a friend of the original owner, Lu Xiaojia and he get along quite comfortably and speak very casually. Song Shichen pushed his somewhat coquettish golden-rimmed glasses and chuckled softly. Isn't this the dance platform inviting Lu Lanchun? I know you love listening to plays, so I wanted you to come over and listen. Young Master Lu may not know Lu Lanchun. She is a famous Peking opera veteran in Shanghai. If you don't go listen to her, you will regret it. Song Shichen's words made Lu Xiaojia's expression suddenly stagnate. Co-stage. Lulan Spring. He seemed to remember something and immediately asked. This shared stage. But Huang Jinrong's territory. Song Shichen nodded. That's right, it's his territory. And Lu Lanchun is still the woman that Huang Jinrong advocates. What about the object that the big shots of the Qing Gang are all praising, young Master Lu? Do you want to go and listen to it? Lu Xiaojia suddenly chuckled lightly. Are you worried about not having a place to make money? Go, Huang Jinrong's venue, we must go and cheer for it. Chapter 8. Smash the scene. Smash the factory of the Qing Gang. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Smash the scene. Smash the factory of the Qing Gang. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward Shanghai Tangong stage. As Huang Jinrong's private property, Shanghai Communist stage ranks among the top in Shanghai Peking Opera stage. It is said that it was specially built by Huang Jinrong to hold the Dewy Spring. Under the leadership of Song Shichen, Lu Xiaojia and Su Meng arrived at this theater. At this time, many people had already arrived in the theater. Most of these people are fans of Beijing opera, and in this era, people's entertainment activities are relatively limited. Peking opera became a popular form of entertainment among people at that time. In addition, with the performance of the famous Peking opera veteran and actress Lu Lanchun today, there are quite a few people coming. If it weren't for Song Shichen's connections, they wouldn't have been able to occupy a position yet. Master Lu, do you want me to find a steward here? Song Shichen chose a location that was more in the middle, and watching Peking opera was different from watching movies. Naturally, the higher the position, the better. Lu Xiaojia knew that Song Shichen wanted to use his identity to arrange a more advanced position for the Beijing opera steward. However, I am not here to watch the play. Nature doesn't care about these things. Then he waved his hand and said, no need. Song Shichen nodded but didn't say anything. He looked at Su Meng on the side again, frowning slightly. Can this rough guy understand Beijing opera? Although feeling puzzled in his heart, it was Lu Xiaojia who brought it over, and he dared not have any objections. Su Meng, have you remembered everything I just said? After they sat down, Lu Xiaojia spoke calmly. Su Meng nodded and said, young master, I already know. Don't worry, although this matter carries a lot of risk, who would let you be kind to me. Even if you let me die, I won't hesitate. Su Meng's words left Lu Xiaojia momentarily stunned. What are you doing telling me these things? I didn't ask you to die. Did you misunderstand something? Lu Xiaojia wanted to inquire clearly, but just then, the crowd of people watching the play around stood up one after another, looking towards the entrance of the theater. Song Shichen also said with some excitement. Master Lu, Boss Huang is here. As the words fell, a plump middle-aged man dressed in a golden top walked in at the door. He has a serious face and exudes a strong aura throughout his body. This is Huang Jinrong. Lu Xiaojia nodded calmly. Compared to the excitement of these people, he appeared very calm. It seems that Huang Jinrong's so-called aura is like air in his eyes. Isn't it, Huang Jinrong? Is it necessary to be so excited? He looked at Su Meng on the side and found himself looking at Huang Jinrong. There were faint and delicate beads of sweat oozing from the forehead. The Adam's apple moved slightly, as if seeing a tiger. Lu Xiaojia chuckled lightly. Su Meng, you still haven't seen anything. A Huang Jinrong can make you so scared. Lu Xiaojia didn't mind him either. Huang Jinrong is one of the 3 tycoons of Shanghai Beach after all. Not only the leader of the Qing Gang, but also the first Chinese chief inspector in the French Concession. A top-notch expert who can handle both black and white. Su Meng was just a laborer before, so it's normal to have some respect. However, Lu Xiaojia still has some dissatisfaction. You are my younger brother, Lu Xiaojia. I'm afraid he might be a bit abnormal. Have you been with me for so many days and still don't understand my strength? Thinking of Su Meng's previous words, Lu Xiaojia seemed to have guessed something. This silly big guy hasn't been following him for long. Don't you think you can't compare to Huang Jinrong? At the same time, when Huang Jinrong came over, the surrounding spectators also began to discuss. Especially for those who have just arrived in Shanghai. They are naturally quite curious about Huang Jinrong, a Shanghai tycoon. Is that Mr. Huang? He really has an extraordinary aura. He deserves to be a man who can become a tycoon on the Shanghai Bund. Yeah, I heard he's still the chief inspector of the French Concession and the leader of the Qing Gang. He really eats both black and white. In Shanghai, isn't that the local emperor? Such a powerful person, he should be able to cover up the sky with one hand. He is still good friends with Zhang Xiaolin and Du Yuesheng. With the 3 of them here, they are kings in Shanghai. If you say they are kings, I admit it, but if you say they are emperors, it may be a bit daunting. After all, this time is different from the past. Oh. Why do you say that? Is there anyone in Shanghai Beach who is even more powerful than them? Hee, there really is. Just as everyone was discussing, Huang Jinrong also walked to the front seat of the theater and sat down. At the same time, the theater seemed to be waiting for him, and once he was in place, drums and eru accompaniment immediately sounded on stage. Not long. Several actors stepped onto the stage step by step. Huang Jinrong's gaze fell on one of the actors, and a serious smile appeared on his face. He couldn't help but start applauding, and as his applause rang out, others also applauded. In the middle of the stage, a performer lifted his head and looked at Huang Jinrong, with a hint of a smirk in his eyes. This actor's eyes were as seductive as silk, and Huang Jinrong's heart was filled with joy as he watched. So the applause grew louder. The audience on the stands were also attracted by the actor at this moment. That's Lu Lanchun, right? She looks really handsome. No wonder Boss Huang is willing to praise him. If it were me, I would be happy to praise him too. Boss Huang's vision is really good. I heard that Boss Huang is preparing to divorce his wife for this Lalanchen. He's really putting in a lot of effort for him. I didn't expect Mr. Huang to be a kind-hearted person. Lu Xiaojia's gaze also swept over Lu Lanchuan's body. Although she looks a bit beautiful, she gives people a very uncomfortable feeling. It looks very shrewd. Compared to such women, he leans more towards girls from small families who are jade. Young master, when will we start? Su Meng leaned over and whispered. Lu Xiaojia shook her head calmly and said, don't worry for now. Wait. His gaze has been fixed on Lu Lanchun. Although he is not a fan of Peking opera, it is vaguely evident that Lu Lanchun is not in the right state today. That leg is like cotton. I feel like I'm about to fall at any moment. Song Shichen on the side is a staunch fan of the theater, constantly cheering. At this moment, Lu Lanchun seemed to have been accurately told by Lu Xiaojia. Suddenly, my foot slipped and I fell onto the stage. The spectators on stage suddenly panicked. What's going on here? Here. Huang Jinrong was also stunned for a moment. He didn't expect this sudden stage accident either. However, not only did he not despise the other party's mistake, but he also felt a bit heartbroken. Damn it, who cleaned the floor today and damaged Miss Lu? What should I do? Huang Jinrong looked left and right, and suddenly let out a cold snort. The younger brothers on both sides were also panicked and quickly went to ask the steward for clarification. However, at this moment, a deep mockery suddenly rang out from behind them. Haha. Can this actor also become a famous actor? My calves are so soft, I served a few men yesterday. Chapter 9. Flirting the Black Boss. The Qing Gang's territory is causing trouble. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Flirting the Black Boss. Qing Gang's territory is causing trouble. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward. My calves are so soft, I served a few men yesterday. It was none other than Lu Xiaojia's younger brother Su Meng who said this. And this statement is even more eloquent. The slightly noisy theater just now instantly became silent. The voice was loud and resounding, almost everyone could hear it clearly. After falling on the stage, Lu Lanchun heard these words and immediately got angry, turning her head and leaving. It's over. At the same time, everyone turned their heads to look at Su Meng. They were stunned. Whose fierce general is this, surprisingly so arrogant? Does this person not want to live anymore? In Mr. Huang's territory, dare you say that to Lu Lanchun? This is too bold. Everyone in Shanghai knows about the relationship between Mr. Huang and Lu Lanchun. When he talks about Mr. Huang's woman like this, does he not want to live? What a silly big guy. Wait and see, this guy is definitely doomed. Even if the Heavenly King comes, he can't be saved. In Shanghai, there is only one Heavenly King and lousy, and that is Boss Huang. I'm afraid this fool won't see the sun the next day. The way you look at Boss Huang, it's so scary. Everyone is looking at Mr. Huang one after another. He slowly turned his head and looked at Su Meng with an unusually fierce gaze. Without any hesitation, he immediately stood up. And his subordinates also surrounded Su Meng's side at this moment. You really have the courage. In my territory of Huang Jinrong, dare to mock my woman. I want to see who gave you the courage. Huang Jinrong walked slowly to Su Meng with a gloomy face. Everyone's gaze fell on Su Meng. And just then, a man suddenly walked up to him. Facing Huang Jinrong, who was full of anger, he smiled sarcastically and said. Ouch! Boss Huang. The actor on stage who is not skilled in learning and cannot walk steadily, it turns out to be your woman. I'm sorry. Mengzi, apologized to Mr. Huang quickly. You're so reckless. You dare to mock Mr. Huang's woman. If this were to spread, others would think that Mr. Huang's woman could be easily deceived. It was Lu Xiaojia speaking. Su Meng felt a bit confused when he heard his words. Aren't these words what you taught me before? What's going on now? His head couldn't keep up with Lu Xiaojia's rhythm. Huang Jinrong didn't speak, but the younger brother beside him stood up. "Kid, are you deliberately causing trouble? Who wouldn't know that Lu Lanchun is the woman that our boss Huang is interested in, the entire Shanghai bund? Also, don't pretend to be very familiar with our boss. You're a little lamb, not worth talking to our boss." Lu Xiaojia's eyebrows furrowed instantly. Little lamb. He glared at Huang Jinrong's younger brother. Su Meng understood and suddenly let out a loud snap. A slap went out, accompanied by a scream, and the person was directly fanned out. Su Meng's Kong power was astonishing, instantly shocking everyone. Mr. Huang's face turned increasingly pale as he saw the situation. It's okay to tease your own woman and even beat up your own little brother. It's completely lawless. I don't even want to argue with Lu Xiaojia and the others at this moment. Immediately waving his hand, his subordinates immediately gathered around. Seeing this situation, other viewers avoided it one after another. The gaze towards Lu Xiaojia was filled with contempt and disdain. This young man, it's not good to offend anyone, but to offend Mr. Huang, you're going to fall for it now. Speaking of which family's young master is this? He came from out of town, otherwise how could he not know the relationship between Lu Lanchun and Boss Huang? No matter where he comes from, when he comes to Shanghai, if it's a tiger, he has to lie down, and if it's a dragon, he also has to cross. Haha. There's a great show to watch. No, isn't that the young master of the Four Seas Trading Company? He's with that person. In the crowd, someone recognized Song Shichen's identity, and after seeing the current situation, his entire scalp was numb. This is so good, how could it have offended Huang Jinrong? No, why did the well-behaved Huang Jinrong provoke young Master Lu? In Shanghai, you are very impressive, Huang Jinrong. But no matter how powerful you are also a gang leader, but they are warlords. What's the difference? The difference between bandits and feudal lords. If you dare to hit Lu Xiaojia today, you will have to peel off your skin tomorrow. Song Shichen's father has some business dealings with Mr. Huang. Huang Jinrong has a lot of black products in his hands. It involves many monetary transactions, among which there are some trade dealings with their Four Seas commercial firms. He doesn't want to watch Huang Jinrong die. Then he took a step forward and said with a smile. Boss Huang, they have already asked their subordinates to apologize to you. Why don't we just forget about it like this? By the way, I am Song Shichen from Sihai Trading Company, my father Song Shilian. Song Shichen quickly arched his hand. Upon hearing his words, Mr. Huang directly rebuked. Aren't you just a little bastard of Song Shilian? Your father came today. Do you think he dares to plead for this kid? Let's go together, all three of them teach me a lesson. Upon hearing these words, Song Shichen shook his head helplessly. As Mr. Huang's words fell, 5 or 6 of his subordinates rushed forward. Seeing that the situation was not good, Su Meng quickly protected Lu Xiaojia. The other person stretched out their fist, and at first glance, it was like practicing martial arts. The fist style was fluctuating, and they were about to hit Su Meng's chest. But I didn't expect this silly big guy in front of me to carry a fist that ordinary people couldn't handle. He carried it down as if nothing had happened. At the same time, a punch hit the opponent's door, and he flew several meters straight away. This scene stunned everyone. Lu Xiaojia was stunned. He saw a silly fight for the first time and didn't expect such brute force. Immediately after, others rushed over as well. Su Meng resisted their punches and counterattacked, punching them one by one, like lifting a chick and kicking them away. In the end, there were 2 more people left, both of whom he could easily handle. In the end, there were no more standing thugs on the field. Only Huang Jinrong is left. And at this moment, with a snap, Huang Jinrong pulled the trigger in his hand, lifted the gun, and pressed it against Su Meng's body. Now, Su Meng suddenly dared not move. You guys are so brave. It's okay to cause trouble on my Huang Jinrong's territory. I just wanted you to suffer a little bit, that's it. I didn't expect to take a step forward and hurt my people. I see you're really lawless. You're really not afraid of death, are you? Huang Jinrong aimed his gun at Su Meng, but his gaze was fiercely fixed on Lu Xiaojia. Facing the other person's gaze, Lu Xiaojia was not afraid at all. Boss Huang. Don't forget, you're an inspector. Do you want to kill people on the street because of this? Lu Xiaojia walked towards him while speaking. Huang Jinrong was confused. It was the first time he had seen such a talented young person. He was holding a gun in his hand, not only not afraid, but also daring to provoke. Lu Xiaojia approached Huang Jinrong and said again. This is the French Concession, not any other place. As the chief inspector of the French Concession, do you really dare to kill people on your immediate superior's territory? And do you know who I am? Chapter 10. Night Adventures in the French Concession. Mobilize the Army. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Night Adventures in the French Concession. Mobilize the Army. Kneel down and beg for flowers to reward crazy. Crazy. This person is a crazy person who is not afraid of death. Boss Huang has already pulled out his gun, but this kid is still moving forward. This young man is too reckless, isn't he? The key is that the other party is Huang Jinrong. How dare he? Are you really not afraid that Boss Huang will kill him? This young man is willing to die, even Mr. Huang dares to provoke him. The onlookers around were all dumbfounded. They originally thought that Lu Xiaojia was just a coward who could only hide behind Su Meng. But now it seems that he is the real tough guy. Su Meng was held back by a gun and dared not move, but Lu Xiaojia dared to approach. If the other party is an ordinary person, it's okay. But the other party is Huang Jinrong, a big shot from Shanghai Beach. Where exactly does this kid come from with his confidence? Kid, you're very reckless. Do you really think I dare not kill you? Crazy people have their own destiny, and in Shanghai Beach, I am this day. But you're right. I'm the chief inspector, and this is also a good place in the French Concession. But do you know how much oil and water I give to those officials as the chief inspector of the French Concession? This money is enough to buy your life and keep me safe. Huang Jinrong's face gradually turned grim, and his tone of voice was also very cold and stern. As for who Lu Xiaojia is, Huang Jinrong doesn't care at all. Looking at the entire Shanghai Bund, there were only a few people he feared, and the young people in front of him were probably from other places. Strong dragons don't even suppress local snakes. Even if he really has some status in another city, you have to restrain yourself in front of his Shanghai tycoon. Despite his warning, Lu Xiaojia showed no fear at all. So, is Mr. Huang really not planning to do something good about this? Do you insist on causing a fish to die and a net to be broken? Huang Jinrong snorted coldly. Are you still kind-hearted? All right. Let my subordinates cut off one hand and one foot of the three of you, and I will let you leave. As soon as he finished speaking, a large number of people rushed out. Boss, I heard someone is causing trouble. We're here to support you. Who the hell dares to cause trouble on the territory of our Qing Gang and doesn't want to live anymore? No one has dared to go against us in Shanghai for many years. Today, I insist on beating them to the point where my mother doesn't even know them. What? Just 3 people. About hundreds of people in black appeared in the theater. These are all members of the Qing Gang. They heard someone causing trouble on the Shanghai stage, and their boss was listening to the play on the stage. Upon hearing the news, they hurriedly rushed to protect Huang Jinrong. Seeing these people in black, the onlookers around were worried about being affected. Not to mention the group of Lu Xiaojia surrounded in the middle. That silly guy is really good at fighting, but unfortunately, Boss Huang has a gun, and there are hundreds of little brothers here. These 3 guys are going to be ruined. I knew they would end up like this long ago. Those who dare to confront Mr. Huang on the Shanghai bund either lie at home or in the cemetery. They are so young and don't know how to cherish a great life. They will definitely regret it. Who let them be so reckless, mocking Lu Lanchun? That's just hitting the boss's face again, they deserve it. Should we sneak away? What if a fight starts and it affects us? Can hitting 3 people affect us? It's such a lively scene, not to watch it for nothing. It's much more interesting than watching a play. The onlookers around all focused their attention on Lu Xiaojia. I want to see him worry, fear, and even regret. However, they were disappointed. Lu Xiaojia was not afraid, but instead burst into laughter. Huang Jinrong furrowed his brows, his forehead bulging with veins. What are you laughing at? Aren't you scared out of your wits by my subordinates? Lu Xiaojia showed a playful smile. I laughed at you for getting used to being a local snake. I don't know if there are people outside of you. Boss Huang. I can't stand you. I'll call you Boss Huang. I look down on you, you don't even have the qualification to lift my shoes. Lu Xiaojia originally intended to make this matter a good deal and casually trap the other party with millions of dollars. But now, I see Huang Jinrong looking like he doesn't want any oil or salt. He also changed his mind. This guy must bleed a lot. Anyway, this guy is not a serious person. He secretly coerces good people into prostitution, sells opium to poison the Chinese people, and has done all the outrageous business. Getting some money from him on his own is also considered acting on his behalf. Thinking of this, Lu Xiaojia looked at her watch and smiled faintly. Boss Huang, I gave you a chance, but you're useless. His words completely angered Huang Jinrong. I am the 3 tycoons of Shanghai Beach. Unexpectedly, he was so despised by a young man. Surprisingly, he claimed that he didn't even have the qualification to lift his shoes. In front of his subordinates, he was so insulted. When did Huang Jinrong receive such treatment? He immediately became angry. I just wanted to dismantle one of my limbs, but now it seems like it's really too cheap for you. Since you're looking for death, then I'll fulfill you. After speaking, he waved his hand and at the same time, hundreds of his subordinates all gathered around. Huang Jinrong has already spoken, this is going to kill Lu Xiaojia alive. And these subordinates have all had their hands more or less contaminated with human life, so even if they kill Lu Xiaojia alive, they have no guilt. Su Meng looked at the hundreds of people in black in front of him, feeling a little emotional. Mother. I just buried you a few days ago. Unexpectedly, my son is also going to find you. But it's also good, we two can reunite below. Thinking of this, Su Meng narrowed his eyes slightly and then said to Lu Xiaojia behind him. Young master, when I figure out a way for you later, you'll run like crazy. I'll try to hold back as many people as possible for you. Lu Xiaojia was stunned for a moment, then calmly smiled. Fool, you underestimate me too much, young master. You don't need to deal with them. Someone will help us deal with these people. Su Meng hesitated slightly and said, Who? Lu Xiaojia's ears twitched slightly. He slightly raised the corner of his mouth and said, Here we go. As soon as the words fell, a buzzing sound suddenly rang out from outside. At the same time, everyone who was preparing to take action was suddenly surprised. The spectators of the theater also looked towards the door one after another, curious about what was happening outside. Huang Jinrong also frowned again at this moment. Why does this buzzing sound like the sound of a car? Before they can figure out what's happening outside. Soon, Huang Jinrong's subordinates rushed in from outside. Old boss, there are many cars and soldiers coming outside. They've surrounded our theater. Kneel down and beg for a flower, a reward, and a monthly pass. As long as there is any data, I will explode even more at 20.